party. But then they say, but there's nothing I can do. So the typical person who's listening right now on AM 830 out of Worcester or the 1390 down Plymouth, Rob, what can they do? You just heard Brad say something, but he's a political guy. He knows tricky things to do. What can a normal people do?
I'm going to go back to door knocking and tell the story, and I go to Hollywood door knocking. Not to be the dead horse, but my paper route, it was 20 years later after I had my paper route, the city of Lowell, the northern part of Lowell. My paper route covers 2 precincts in Lowell, Ward 5, Precinct 5-3, Precinct 6-1. Jim Oganowski ran back in 2007 against Mickey Saunders and lost a very narrow race. Wish we had some more of the help earlier, but I went and I door knocked people that I knew growing up. This neighborhood hasn't had a lot of turnover. I talked to people I knew. I joked with some of them that they owed me what they owed me for the papers with interest because they didn't pay me the last week and stuff like that. And I didn't even live in the neighborhood anymore. But I talked to people I know. The most important thing, and this is what in our friends with the Democratic Party, I guess only reader to see Charlie and left, but what John Walsh always says is you go and you talk to the people that you know, and that's what we don't do. So if you're looking for something to do the week before an election, go to your local office, get some literature, and then go knock on your neighbor's doors and talk to your neighbors.
In other words, you don't need the list of the ward guy, whatever. You just talk to people you know, because you're going to have an impact anyway. Well, Holly, what do you do when you go to your neighbor and say, yeah, I'm voting for, just to grab a name, Charlie Baker, and then you talk, oh, who's blah, blah, okay. Oh, wait, he's a Republican? Well, I don't vote for Republicans. Do you just give up then, or what do you do?
You go and cry a little bit. You've got to make the case and talk to, once again, like talking to people in the terms that they care about and making the case about why they should care about Charlie Baker and what it means to them. Most people vote their pocketbook, and so we've got to be talking those pocketbook issues to them. Are there some that are dyed in the wool? Yeah, you move on and you talk to the people that are in the middle. I mean, when I moved, I used to live in Stoughton, because of the Herald column, people found out what I did. My neighbors thought I was just strange to begin with, and then they found out it was the Herald. And one of my neighbors came over. Usually when somebody recognizes me from the Herald, they usually then say, and I love what you write. Otherwise they, spit on me. And so one of my neighbors came over and said, hey, I see you in the Herald. And I thought, well, automatically he's going to say great stuff. And I said, oh, thank you very much. He goes, no, I hate everything you write. and from there, every single one of my neighbors that election season put a Democratic sign around my house, in which we'd never had signs on our street, like that was going to change my mind.
Right.
But, for me, it just made me go out there and work harder. And I think you've got to go after the people in the middle. And right now, the Republicans should be shooting to the middle class here in the state of Massachusetts and working for, because yesterday the Democrats said they're going to screw you, just not as much as Deval wanted to.
But then this is the concern. The Democrats nominated the most liberal guy to run for governor, and he beat Carrie Healy and Charlie Baker. He was the liberal. They nominated Liz Warren, the most liberal candidate, and she beat a popular guy like Scott Brown. Isn't it the case in Massachusetts? The state has gone so far left that they can afford now to abandon Republicans and what you can think of as swing blue-collar voters, and they're still going to win.
No, I think, look, I would think that a lot of what happened the first time out when, against Deval was a poorly run campaign. And I think that you got to look at the tactics that were taken. They, instead of, look, you were never going to make Deval Patrick unlikable. He is a likable man. And so you got to deal with that. You make it funny. You needed to make him a joke, and which he is. Okay, this is a guy who said he was going to cut property taxes. Why we didn't use that issue against him? He ran on a pocketbook issue and stole a pocketbook issue away from us.
Let me get for Brad very quickly. Is it the case it's just so far left that Liz Warren and Deval Patrick win? They abandoned the middle, and they still won.
Somebody made the point before, Liz Warren was a special case. Obama won by 30-something points. So I don't think we define our strategy going forward from that race. I think one thing from a strategy point of view, Rob mentioned the door knocking. We're also sitting next to Holly Rocha, arguably one of the best direct mail consultants, and
you're going to hear more from them right there. With Up Against the Heartbreak, Brad. Also, what to do about social conservatives in Massachusetts is all part of the conversation as we continue our town hall. How to save the Massachusetts GOP.